Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation, which I'm now offering signed copies of at my website, ElliotOracle.com. And I'm also pulling a card for people and writing a personalized message for you in the book. So if you're interested in that, head on over to my website. It is time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals, and I asked you to use your intuition and ask yourself which animal is calling to you. And the animals were the owl, the hawk, and the squirrel. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal is getting caught in your head, because that animal has your message. And for those of you who picked the owl is long associated with wisdom. It's the familiar of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war in ancient Greek mythology. And if you're attracted to owl at this time, this could be a time where you're really looking into your blind spots. You're really looking at the things that are kind of shrouded or masked in shadow, and you're bringing them to light. The owl is also able to see through the dark. And so this could be a time when you're really using your inner sight to find your way through a period that appears outwardly to be opaque or dark. The first card is where it's best for owl to place their focus this next week. And we got the 7 of Cups. And this is long associated with dreams. But much like the message of the owl going through the dark and needing to see through the dark, similar meaning with the 7 of Cups. Here, there's a fog that's covering your path. And out of the fog that is obscuring the way forward are these 7 cups that are emerging. And out of the 7 cups are these different objects. Some of them are wonderful, like jewels and crowns, and other ones are kind of scary, like dragons and snakes. And what they represent are your hopes and your fears. And sometimes when our pathway is obscured and we can't see the way forward, our hopes kick in and we imagine all these wonderful things that are going to happen, or our fears kick in and they tell us all the terrible things that are probably going to happen, and neither are true. The 7 of Cups is based on illusion, and so this might be a time when you're really needing to rely on your faith, your spirit, your inner sight to see through the mist. The second card is advice from your inner wisdom, and we got the 8 of Pentacles. This is a card that's telling you to focus on what's tangible, what's in front of you. If you're trying to accomplish something, the 8 of Pentacles is saying that the surest way to get there is through consistency. And maybe you've had this wonderful dream and this imaginative vision for what you want your life to look like. But it's just that. It's just a dream until you actually put the work into it with that 8 of Pentacles card. So if you're feeling like, gosh, I don't know the way forward, and I have this overarching thing I really want to achieve or accomplish, I just don't know how to get there, 8 of Pentacles is telling you to start with the small steps and to just be consistent with those. And in no time, you'll reach your goal. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to be helping the owl this week is Persephone. She's the goddess of the underworld, and she's also the goddess of spring. She goes down into the underworld every winter, and the earth gets cold, and then she reemerges in the spring, and the flowers appear with her. And she's a seasonal goddess, and she's telling you everything has its season. Again, that need to go through the shadow, through the underworld, is going to be so important for the owl this next week. But never fear, because your rebirth is right around the corner. And Persephone will always promise that spring is going to arise. If you are still slogging through the last vestiges of winter right now, I think that 8 of Pentacles is telling you to be consistent with what you're trying to accomplish, and spring will come soon enough. The next animal is the hawk. And hawk is associated with messages and signs and signals. And it's also associated with Hermes, the messenger god from ancient Greece. So this could be a time, if you're attracted to hawk, where you want to pay attention to signs and signals in your path. If you keep seeing that number on the clock that keeps popping up and it's always the same one, that's a message from hawk. And maybe it's time to look up what that number means online. Or if you're seeing a bird or another little omen, really maybe look up what the meaning of that animal is. There's always a message being communicated to you by the universe, especially when you're attracted to hawk. First card for hawk is where it's best to place your focus this next week. And we got the 4 of Cups. And that's the card that shows a figure under the tree. His arms are crossed. His legs are crossed. He's really stuck in his head. Look, he's just thinking about his problems. He's worried about the past. He's freaking out about the future. And he's totally missing it, because right in front of him is an angelic hand coming out of a cloud, offering him a golden cup. And I just feel like for hawk this next week, You are being offered some sort of a gift, but you may not see it if you're too stuck in your head. If you're over analyzing your feelings and your impressions, or you're just too stuck in your emotions, you may not be able to see that sign or that signal that the hawk is bringing to you. And so I just kind of feel like this guy's getting a sign and he's like, I don't see it because I'm so in my head. I'm so worried about things. So I think for Hawk, it's not just about, paying attention to the sign. It's also about just being aware, being alert, being awake at this moment, and looking at how you might be receiving a message that's going to help you overcome the very thing that you're worried about. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you pick the Hawk, is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And the Seven of Pentacles upright is a card of patience, hard work, the seeds have been planted, and now we're just waiting for things to come into fruition. Sometimes when that Seven of Pentacles comes up reversed, it represents impatience, or it can represent some frustration that something's not growing quite as fast as we thought it would. And when I couple that with the Four of Cups, again, the message is like, it's going to be okay. You're needing to just let this thing play out. But if you're too in your head about it right now, you're going to look at every piece of evidence for why something's not going to be okay or why it's taking more time. And I just kind of feel like you're going to need to have a little bit of faith this next week. Faith in yourself and faith in your goal and faith in what you're trying to get to grow, because it's needing a little more time. And don't get frustrated. I really get the strong sense that by July, all goes well for the Hawk. And then finally, there he is, Hermes, the messenger god. Like I was saying, the Hawk is associated with Hermes, the messenger god. There he is. There's your sign and signal. So I really feel like messages are appearing for you. You need to follow the advice of the message that's in front of you. And just know that everything's going to come together in divine serendipity in its appropriate time. And it's important that you don't overthink it. And then finally, we have the squirrel animal spirit. And Squirrel is all about saving, planning for the future, making a plan, making your preparations for a future success. And so if you're attracted to Squirrel, this could be a time where you're coming up with a budget or saving your money or really accumulating a lot of resources toward a specific goal that you might have. But it's important to store those things away. First card for Squirrel is what it's best to place your focus on for this next week. And there we got the Emperor. He represents establishing firm foundations for success in your life and taking charge of it. The Emperor is also very extroverted, and he can indicate that with your goal, you want to take action on it. He's got the rams on his throne, which charge ahead. So this is a very assertive energy. And the Emperor, he's richly robed, but he also has that armor on underneath the robe. And that can symbolize that you want to wear some protective armor if you're picking Squirrel this next week. You're wanting to go out in the world, but also be mindful that it's important to shield yourself. And then finally, he's got that white beard, which can represent wisdom and maturity. And the Emperor will just tell you, place your focus on your wisdom, what you've already learned, your experience. Believe in yourself. If there's anything the Emperor is, it's confident. So you really want to harness the powers of your own confidence to get you to your goal. The second card is advice from your inner wisdom. And there we get the King of Pentacles. I like to imagine him as being like the son of the Emperor and the Empress. You can see he wears the same richly decorated robes, but then armor underneath, just like the Emperor does. But he also has that scepter of the Empress. The only other place that scepter appears is on the Empress card. And again, these are both cards of success, planting your seeds, anything with money, finances, squirreling away money for the future. These are really great signs for that. So this could be a time to be practical and have your eye on the long game. And then the mythic archetype that is going to help you if you pick the squirrel are the sirens. They're the mermaids that lure the sailors to the rocks with their beautiful voices. And what the sirens represent in our own life are those beautiful distractions that get us off track, that make us procrastinate or kick the can down the road, but that ends up kind of dashing our dreams against the sharp rocks. This could be a time when you're really staying disciplined, focused. Both the King of Pentacles and the Emperor have to do with that self-discipline, and you're going to want to block out anything that's going to distract you because success is within reach. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you can always check me out at elliotoracle.com. Otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and happy week, and do take care. And I hope you have a wonderful week, whatever you're doing.